You know who it is? It's me. It's only me today. Trolling the background. Why my head crooked? I don't know why that's crooked. No D today. Just me in the back. Colton and Evelyn, how you doing? Solid steps to wealth. Congratulations for becoming a member. I see you out there. On here it don't show which member you became. I have to go over to YouTube to see what member you became. Right? It don't show me in StreamYard. We appreciate you though. How's everybody Friday night? Those that have missed uh Foolish Finance Friday, go back and check it out. Take a look. Like they say, look into my eyes and tell me. Let's see. All right, this week was platform conf. And I don't know, my head crooked, but whatever. This week was platform conf, and it was also render ATL, and then there was another conference going on as well too. Oh, it was Cisco Live last week. And I think this week was HPE conference. Um Hewlett Packard conference. So I want to send some people, but I didn't get a chance to. Nobody ever responded. It's all good though. We'll catch it the next time. So today, we got a fun filled show per se. Some things that I think you all should explore. But only after you have built up enough to really talk about that you don't mind losing some money, right? And when I say losing some money, I'm like maybe about anywhere from 3 to 5,000 you can play with, right? Depending on the investment you're trying to get into, right? When it comes to that, when it comes to it. All right, let me get back on. I'm bringing up my screens. Oh, yeah. HP has a conference. Dell has a conference. Microsoft has a conference. All the vendors have conferences. Red Hat has a conference. Uh, SUSE has a conference. Everybody has a conference. Everybody has conferences. And you get a chance to see the best of the best when you're looking at that. Like everybody pays money to come out just to see who's doing what, is get a chance to showcase off their new stuff, showcase off stuff that they got coming in the future, the research and development and stuff. Oh yeah, the Apple conference was this week. I didn't get a chance to go over all the of everything that came out of that conference. I'm gonna have to go back and do that. I'm gonna have to go back and do that. I'm gonna have to go back and do that. I have my notes, but I haven't finished everything. So I'll spend some time today on that. Maybe I'll do it on Monday to talk about where it's going. If you're not invested in Apple, get invested in Apple. You need to invest in Microsoft. You should be investing in Microsoft, Apple, Broadcom, AMD. Um, I would even venture to say even IBM, right? Even IBM, I would venture to say. And I'm not talking about a whole bunch of money. You guys can start with $5,000, right? $5,000. I mean, whatever. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna have to take my headphones off and transfer this over first, because the way StreamYard does it is you have to share a tab if you're in Chrome in order to get sound to work. But if you share a whole screen, sound doesn't work. So let's do this. We're gonna start this off with um, a planned development unit. It's called Lakewood Ranch. It's in Sarasota, Florida. Let me take my headphones off. All right. I don't know why this thing like is crooked. It bothers me because in the screen it looks like it's just straight. I mean, I'm in the mirror, it looks straight, but here it looks crooked. Anyway, so Lakewood Ranch. Lakewood Ranch is a planned development unit down in Sarasota, Florida. And it's a yeah. And this is one of the ones I've been talking about for years, about where you wonder how other people are living. It includes everything: wellness, grocery stores, um, uh, banks, anything you can think of that you would need in an environment to thrive is already there. You never have to leave that environment, right? They have a cars and coffee every month down there at the. Sometimes they'll do it on Main Street, but it's at the mall. You want to see whatever exotics that are in that area, you can. I watched the area grow. I was actually looking at houses down there for myself. Um, but we're gonna get into this because I want you to understand, like, pooling money together in a community and what that community could look like. There are communities in different parts of Texas, different parts of uh, Georgia that do this. Lakewood Ranch isn't the only one, but it is one of the ones that's number one for the past 6 years. And so this, I mean, we're not going to spend 22 minutes on it because I can tell you about it, but I'm gonna let someone else give it to you from a different perspective. Let me make sure my sound is up so that you can hear as well. And then let's get into the video.
In terms of real estate, the United States is truly an impressive place. Residential real estate alone is the largest asset class in the country at a combined value of $52 trillion. That's roughly $2 trillion more than the entire value of all publicly traded companies in the United States combined. America's vast 3.8 million square miles boasts some of the greatest real estate on earth, naturally sparking a competition among cities and smaller communities for the title of the best place to live. So how on earth is it possible that a single community could take the title of number one in the USA for 6 years in a row by multiple publications? Moreover, how could this community be located in Florida, a state that for 2 years now has featured countless YouTube uploads and blog articles sounding the alarms over an impending crash? In reality, Florida is and will continue to be a very complex market, with multiple storylines and narratives that are absolutely crucial to distinguish for anyone interested in understanding this market before entering it. And in this video, we'll make that crucial distinction by focusing on the story of a world-class market right here in Florida, a place brimming with charisma and optimism.
So I'm gonna give you my perspective real quick. Driving back and forth to Sarasota, before it was just woods. When you pass 275, you going over the bridge, the Skyway Bridge. Go over the Skyway, you hit the outskirts. You hit like Ellington, the outlets. You'll hit Bradenton, Palmetto. You'll get a little further down into Sarasota, and now Lakewood Ranch. Really, like right after Lakewood Ranch is Northport. Like the next big city is Northport, and Northport has even grown as well too. So you know your vast majority of And this is what I always talk about, like the millionaire next door. To be living next to someone who is a millionaire, that's easy. To be, and then the amount of money that goes into that area, like people don't realize how much money goes into that area by itself, right? Tampa is one thing, St. Peter's another, than Sarasota, right? Retirement community, sure, but they're also bringing in a lot of families. Let me say that. Like if you got a family, I don't consider this like a area to date. I wouldn't consider that unless you are dating with the purpose of being married or whatnot. But if you just casually dating, and when I say casually, I mean it's just no sex, just casually dating. I don't see this area like that. Not from when I was down there, not even from the men that I know that have paid for an actual uh dating coaches, and have paid for uh, someone to set up dates for them. And I know several men that have done it and they were not successful. So I don't say that's that area, but it is also an area where you can go thrive, right? You can go make some money. You can go and be okay. You're not worried about the schools, and if the school is in the area. And then again, you got to pick the school, right? You got to pick the area. This is the thing about money, right? When you're making money, you're gonna pick a location where your family can thrive, especially your children. Where your family can thrive, especially your children. You're not gonna go purposely move into a neighborhood where the school doesn't have books. No one's doing that on purpose. Now the school may not have books, but you didn't move into the area on purpose because the school didn't have books. People with children look for places where they know their child is going to be safe. So, where the child is going to learn, where the child at least can go to the library and get access to other resources, or the school is connected to other resources. I'm just, that's just what it is, right? So either we're gonna say we want our kids to thrive, or we're gonna say we're gonna homeschool. Because a lot of public school teachers and a lot of the public schools are like, nah, we ain't doing this no more. Teachers are quitting left and right. Students not learning nothing in the class. The scores are down. Kids are not completing. And some of it doesn't just have to necessarily do with home life. Some of it has to do with how the kids are interacting with each other in school. You know if you're raising a bully or not. You know if you're raising somebody that's a bully. You know you raising someone that goes around and shove other kids. You know exactly that. And if you don't know that, that's because you're not paying attention. Trust me, you know that. All right, so let's get back to it.
Town that ramped up development not long before the 2008 Great Financial Crisis, that has nonetheless thrived through the decades, regularly achieving significant year-over-year growth, including last year's 22% increase in spite of the recent rate hikes. It's a town that is unanimously, both by the numbers and by the polls, been the single greatest multi-generational community in America since 2018. But the question remains, is it worth the hype? What exactly makes it so special? Is it some overly manufactured Truman Show Disney-esque suburban nightmare? Or is there actually something genuine and authentic about this community that seems to be a magnet for those making the conscious decision to live their best lives? In this video, we'll attempt to uncover that truth. We'll take a deep dive into every corner of this 33,000 acre, 50 square mile community to answer one simple question.
33,000 acres. 33,000 acres.
Why has this little town maintained
that right there? That's Main Street right there. That's right off of University.
It says number one in the nation year after year after year, after year after year after year? My name is Michael, and this channel tells the stories behind the homes, neighborhoods, and communities in Florida that you may be interested in. If you're researching the area to buy, call or text the number at the bottom of the screen throughout the video. And if you find these videos amusing, Lakewood Ranch is a planned community in Tampa Bay, about an hour south of the city, that spans across Manatee and Sarasota County.
All right, Manatee in Sarasota County. Manatee, what's going on, Fern? Manatee is really like where you want to be versus Sarasota County. But Manatee is where a lot of people have flocked to, right? They when they start building, when I moved down in 2011, the mall wasn't even completed yet. They were talking about building the mall, but they hadn't started construction yet for the mall. But now the mall is completed.
A planned community can be defined as anything from a small town to a large city that is centrally owned and systematically developed to accommodate a specific function or vision. While city and county building codes have provided more cohesion for organically developed cities over the past century, the central ownership and absolute authority of planned communities provides a unique opportunity for a top-down vision to be fully executed without compromise. This, of course, can be an advantage or a disadvantage, depending on the competence and the character of the central authority. A few examples of planned cities across the world include Abuja, Nigeria, the fastest growing city in the world from 2000 to 2010, New Delhi in Asia, Brasilia in South America, Canberra in Australia, and hundreds of older cities across Europe that began as
planned communities. He just gave you some that were around the world, right? Planned communities, right? Not only are these communities, let me put myself up here. Not only are these communities planned, right? They're planned from an educational standpoint as well, meaning that what colleges, what elementary schools, what do we want to have here? In that area, you got a couple of billionaires that live down there. They are putting together VC funding. They are investing in the community. They are investing in the school. They go back to the schools. They actually. I was a part of the program where they were given elementary element. Well, I'll say eighth through 12th kids the opportunity to create an app, get funding for it, and be their own CEOs. How to speak, how to and it was a week. That was the hackathon. The hackathon was to create an app to solve a problem that they that they would see, and then once they solved that, and if they won, they would go on and they would pitch that app. So some of the people that worked there were from Microsoft. Some were from Nvidia, some were from Sirius Radio, some were from different multiple companies, CEOs, execs, and so forth. So you get a chance to hobnob with folks as well too. So I got a chance to talk to people or whatnot, share visions or whatnot. Got donations from women in Linux, spoke at different stuff, helped with curriculum. It's just it just a different thought process and mindset when you see everybody coming together to try to accomplish those goals. So let's get back to it so you can understand exactly what took place when planning out this development, and what can we learn from that plan development. That's really what I want us to take away.
Communities and have since evolved alongside the various socioeconomic changes of their governments. But in the United States, aside from Washington, D.C., planned communities are typically at a much smaller scale. While the relatively low density 50 square miles of Lakewood Ranch are modest in scale compared to planned cities around the world, there's one very important reason why you could argue that Lakewood Ranch is still one of the most impressive planned communities anywhere in the world. In order to make that argument, we have to go all the way back to where the story starts, over a century ago in 1905, when John Schroeder purchased the land to harvest timber for his furniture business. And when those ventures were unsuccessful, the land was sold in 1922 to the Uline family, acquaintances of John's through the brewing industry in Milwaukee.
Now the question is, did anybody black own that land and they stole it from? My conspiracy theory asks these questions.
Purchased a home for a whopping $2 per acre. For From that point on, the land was used by the U-Lines for cattle, timber, vegetables, citrus by the 1960s, and shell mining starting in the 70s. But in the 80s, something very crucial happened. Interstate 75 extended through South Florida, through Sarasota County, along the western border of Schroeder Manatee Ranch. With the infrastructure in place, the ranch's location had now become extremely appealing, nearly equidistant to the west coast of Florida's three burgeoning cities, at 30 miles from St. Petersburg, 39 miles from Tampa, and just 9 miles from Sarasota, while also being roughly equidistant to what many consider to be the Gulf Coast's four most beautiful berry.
So right here, you see on the screen, you see Siesta Key. You can go look up houses in Siesta Key. All along here, what do houses look like? What does like living on the water looks like? Totally different aspect. And then here you're kind of landlocked in this area. So like a hurricane coming through, right? A hurricane coming through Siesta Key, a cat 5, the wind, your host, right? But you may be host up here too because of these ponds or of any body of water, but you may be okay because you're a little bit more inland. But up through here, right up in here, Bradenton, yeah, you're host, right? Your host right up in here because these are gonna flood. But you won't get that. You won't get this much water inland here. You won't get that much water inland here. So you're kind of like in a prime community for when it comes down to hurricanes. Now you may get some wind. You'll get some wind, but water, no.
Islands, 13 miles from Longboat Key, 11 miles from Lido Key, 13 miles to Siesta Key, and 19 miles from Anna Maria. With the infrastructure in place to connect these attractions came the realization that triggered the vision for Schroeder Manatee Ranch to shift from farming, harvesting, and mining to the new ambition of creating an entire town. And so a team of experts was brought on to accomplish a very challenging set of goals. Maximize the value of the land through residential development, create a cohesive community that is truly rewarding to live in, and most importantly, uphold the core values of sustainability and respect for nature, which are fundamental principles to the rancher's ethic and a non-negotiable for the owners of the ranch. As we pause for a moment, it's important to note how critical this point of the story was. Most planned communities, including the highly populated ones I mentioned earlier, are either built by an autocratic government or they're built around a major industry or government operation, such as mining towns or capital cities. In all of these examples, the demand is built right into the community from the very beginning. There's no uncertainty as to whether people will make the conscious decision to move there because the residents don't have a choice in the matter. For Schroeder Manatee Ranch, on the other hand, there were no guarantees. Their hypothetical town was a complete gamble.
So this right here, if you're going down, if you're in Sarasota and you're going down the parkway here, you're going to run into different layers of different price points, right? You'll find houses that got enough land for horses. You'll find condos. You'll find golf courses. I used to go work out at one of the gyms over there. I would go in, I come in, and it'd be all the older folks in, probably about I don't know, about 60 to 70. They got a huge Olympic pool. They have swimming classes. They got classes for elderly. They come pick them up on the bus. They drop them off. They got a nurse on site at the gym to take your blood pressure, you do your blood work, the whole nine. They kept up with every single thing that their people came in for. Oh, such and such, your blood pressure was up last week, and we're gonna recommend this exercise, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and on top of that, when they get done, they was like, okay, we're gonna show you how to stretch your. I was like, man, we don't have this kind of gym. I ain't seen this kind of gym before.
Age-old dictum to the test. If you build it, will they actually come? Since this is a real estate channel, we'll take a deep dive into the ranch's entire history of residential development and also see what these villages look like today. We'll take a look at the surrounding infrastructure and culture that ties the community together and ultimately try to figure out why this community continues to grow at an astonishing pace, notwithstanding external market forces. The long socioeconomic experiment began in 1995 with the first
Let's get
in the 90s. In 1998, the second neighborhood, Edgewater, began development. A neighborhood featuring slightly higher-end homes, and a few years later, higher-end lakefront townhomes with boardwalks and other ways for residents to enjoy the nature. Then, in 2000, came a cornerstone development for Lakewood Ranch, the Country Club, the first luxury neighborhood and golf community in town.
Yep. So the Country Club is where I would go work out at. Again, Olympic pool right down the street. Like they say, 500K to 5 million. Nothing to see. Anybody just walk in. They're gonna do their thing, work out, woo woo. You had access to the gym downstairs, access to the gym upstairs, access to if I needed a lift back to work, if I needed someone to take me to work because it was in the area, they would take me back to work. They would come pick me up from work, just little stuff like that. Like I'm like, I this kind of living I like. Trying to get it started again. Hold on. I don't know why it don't want to start.
Today, this community remains a massive success and one of Lakewood Ranch's most sought-after neighborhoods, featuring an extremely popular golf membership, attracting people from all over the country to place their names on the waiting list, along with a variety of homes to choose from. And while many of these homes here still range in the 500,000s today, others have sold for well over $3 million, with a home currently on the market for just under $7 million. Along with the Country Club came Greenbrook Village and Riverwalk Ridge, neighborhoods similar to Summerfield in many ways that today also boast beautifully grown in landscaping.
The Greenbrook Village, I'm not impressed.
A wide variety of sizes and prices. With these 5 neighborhoods laying the groundwork for the community, the decision was made to initiate a wave of higher density development along Lakewood Ranch Boulevard, marking the point when the idea of Lakewood Ranch as a town started to take shape. First, a pair of condos were built in quick succession named Watercrest and Lake Vista Residences, along with a brand new downtown area dubbed Main Street, with retail and office space on the first level and loft-like condos on the second and third stories. Then in 2007, with a growing demand for high-end homes in the
Just think, all this time I've been down there, I didn't even know those were lofts above there.
Country Club, Lakewood Ranch raised the bar again with the development of the Lake Club, a neighborhood featuring a plethora of beautiful custom homes from the best and brightest builders in the state of Florida. Today, this neighborhood is recognized as one of the greatest in the state for its collection of.
Now I remember when they built this 1.5 million to 7 million. And you would know by the uniqueness of most of them that got built, they all have this semicircle or dome look right here. When they built whoever this designer was, and then there was a Spanish look that came in for this as well too.
Architectural styles that can sell for well over $6 million, with others off market exceeding an estimated $10 million or more. A feat that is not easy considering how far away from the ocean these homes actually are. The neighborhood has since released a new section with active new construction as well, between $1.5 and $7 million. Shortly after the Lake Club, the original Country Club expanded east with a third golf course for its members and more homes similar in size and value to its western counterpart. After Country Club East, development finally moved north of State Road 70 with Central Park, a large community again featuring a wide variety of homes with its.
Now, so they had to start appealing to the people that couldn't afford the 1 million, 2 million. Notice the price point, 385 to 950. Again, further away, not as close to the Country Club, not as close to the golf course, not as close to the bank, the hospital. Is you got a hospital, you have everything that you could possibly think of there. Not, and when I say hospital, I'm not talking about urgent care. I'm talking about a full-blown hospital. You need eye surgery, you need a dentist, multiple dentists, the whole nine.
Coming from a large and beautiful park that serves as the hub of the neighborhood. Next to Central Park came Harmony, a nearby neighborhood with more centralized amenities, along with higher-end townhomes and single-family homes. At this point in the developmental storyline, we've reached roughly the mid-20 teens, and with it, a second generation of neighborhoods in Lakewood Ranch. These second gen communities typically involve a single builder, bigger and better amenity centers to serve as gathering venues for clubs and activities, HOAs that cover the maintenance to preserve the overall appearance of the neighborhood,
Yeah, this Lakewood Ranch, Stacy.
and an overall attempt to create a more cohesive lifestyle within the village. This included Eagle Trace and Indigo, two neighborhoods built by Neil communities, each featuring villas and single-family homes surrounded by well-maintained streets and amenities. Nearby, Taylor Morrison built its first Esplanade neighborhood at Lakewood Ranch with condos, villas, and single-family homes, along with a well-designed and highly rated golf course next to equally impressive resort-style amenities and two restaurants. Esplanade is another neighborhood.
That's right. Two like lifestyle like Spanish style and restaurants. Most of these communities already have the restaurants inside of the communities. It's not like you go back up to one big street and then there's a line of restaurants, even though you do have that. But in the community there are the restaurants. Inside the community are the wellness centers. Like you don't have to drive, 30 minutes away to go get something good. It's right there.
That was very well designed, and due to its incredible landscape architecture and careful maintenance, it seems to get better and better with time. The national builder Lennar also built a plethora of neighborhoods here, including Arbor Grand with villas and single family homes, Bridgewater across from Indigo with mid-sized to large homes, Savannah. Lakewood National was also developed around this time, sprawling golf neighborhood comparable to Esplanade with an Arnold Palmer designed golf course hosting many tournaments throughout the year, along with a massive amenity center with multiple buildings, restaurants, and a pool, and 4 different types of units, including 2 different styles of condo, coach homes, and a variety of single-family homes on the course. Just along the borders of Lakewood National, Lennar also developed Polo Run, Lakewood Ranch's first solar-powered community.
So when the hurricane hit, down in it didn't hit Sarasota directly, but there's another community just like this down in Fort Myers area, and they're much more inland, but it's the same builder, and they didn't their lights didn't go out, they didn't get any flooding, they weren't missing solar panels or anything. They actually survived and thrived. So a lot of people left their stuff on the coast and went inland towards that community. So those people houses shot up.
In addition to Neil, Lennar, and Taylor Morrison, Pulte also became very active in the area at this time, building Mallory Park to the north, one of the more unique neighborhoods in Lakewood Ranch for its urban-style architecture and townhomes featuring sidewalks in the front and backload garages, along with more traditional, larger single-family homes. Across from Lakewood National, Pulte began the first retirement community in Lakewood Ranch, Del Webb, featuring villas and single-family homes, delivering on its typical Del Webb brand with.
Now look at that. That's a retirement community. That's a retirement community. Oh, I'm going to go to the pool. Oh, I'm going to go over here. We're going to have a little something something. Oh, we're chilling today. Oh, where are you going? Oh, meet us down at the bar. Blah blah blah.
Huge community center featuring all the popular active adult amenities. And finally, along with the single-family home developments came another condo project along Lakewood Ranch Main Street, titled Waterfront on Main, with a slightly more high-end feel and slightly higher purchase price than the previous condos.
Put a one in if you chat in the chat if you like what you're seeing so far. Put a one in the chat. Put a two if you like Tameika. We don't care.
And at this point of the process, we're almost fully caught up, with the remaining residential developments either actively selling new construction as of the recording of this video or planning to break ground in the very near future with no signs of slowing down, despite many of the issues reported with surrounding softer markets in other sections of Florida. With the core of Lakewood Ranch having been developed by this point, the third generation of development has expanded in 2 directions, to the northeast and to the south. Starting to the northeast, there's Azario Esplanade, Lakewood Ranch's second Esplanade community with more villas and single-family homes.
Now these villas that they build, right? So these villas, they're really aimed like at like a 2-2-2-1. They're aimed like you could back then you could get a plot for like You get a plot of land for like 20,000, and then you go design your villa based on what they have, and they pop your villa down. Like there's some villas on the way down to Sarasota that they built. They built. I'll show you next week. Next week I'll show y'all the villages. I'll show you the villages so you can see what I'm talking about. Again, in these communities, the schools, the teachers, what they're going to teach, what they're going to have, what's going to happen, who you're connected with, what type of colleges you're connected to is already planned. It's not a guess. It's not a guess. The students that your kids go to school with, they're probably going to go with them for life. They're probably going to go with them for life.
They're a highly rated golf course with a similar display of amenities, trading in that Tuscan look of the original Esplanade for more of a contemporary feel. Next door to Esplanade is Azario Park East, an extension of Esplanade at a lower price with shingle roofing, no golf, and lower HOA. Across from
The one thing I don't like about these communities is it's you got to have a certain color scheme. You got the HOA. You got all of that. So that part I don't like. But if you're gonna maintain my property value, then I understand. But for the most part, I don't like that part. And then they'd be too close together for me, unless I got to buy some more land in order to the plot next to me, so don't nobody build on it.
At Star Farms, one of the largest new developments in Lakewood Ranch, featuring 4 different amenity centers, a small 55 plus section, and a multitude of different builders and price points, from D.R. Horton to custom builders like Lee Weatherington and John Cannon to Homes by West Bay. Nearby is Lorraine Lakes, another Lennar community with townhomes, villas, and single family homes, along with another extremely large and active amenity center. Nearby is more of a minimalist community, also built by Lennar, named Aurora. Across from Aurora are townhomes and single-family homes of Avalon Woods, built by Ryan Homes. Then there's Sweetwater by MI Homes, a community with high-quality homes and a well-executed West Indies-style architecture for the amenity centers and the entrance. Nearby is Crestwin. This is Coulter Homes' first project in Lakewood Ranch and the second 55-plus community in town. Next to Crestwin is Solera, one of the most affordable single-family home neighborhoods in all of Lakewood Ranch, built by D.R. Horton. And closer to Lakewood National is Sapphire Point, another neighborhood built by Pulte, which, unlike Del Webb, is open to all ages. And
you notice you ain't really seen nothing under 385. Everything has been like around about 400,000 and up. You can forget the 200s. That's over. That's a wrap.
Mallory Park features more traditional Florida-style homes. And close to the Lake Club is the Isles, the first Toll Brothers neighborhood in Lakewood Ranch, featuring a...
Okay, so the Isles. Let me talk about the Isles, because this is one of the ones I went and looked at. So canal living, if it's the one I'm thinking about. So every house is on the canal, but the thing about it is every house has the same scheme, right? So there's another Isles down there, I think, and thinking they were doing the second version. I think this may be the second version. But you'll see.
Old Florida feel with lots of preserved space, incredible amenities, and high-end semi-custom homes.
Yeah, this the new one. So they got another Isles down there that every house sits on the canal. So you got a boat dock in the back. You pull in, you put your boat up, you got your pool in the back. You come in, you got your 3-2. They're all probably like a 3-2 or 3-3, primarily a 3-2. You got your driveway in the front. It depends on where you're at on the canal, which is going to lend a little bit more space for you. But that's usually what I saw when I went to. I went and saw 6 different ones, and I was like, they all look the same. Ain't no uniqueness to them. So you gotta be careful when you in these units as well too.
When it comes to the development taking place south of Lakewood Ranch's core, we have Waterside Place, the topic of last video, featuring its own little suburban town in and of itself, with 11 neighborhoods sitting around this beautifully executed town center on a series of abnormally large and clear lakes. In Waterside, Pulte Homes is building 2 communities, including Avanti, a minimalist lakefront community with no amenities, some of the lowest prices and fees in Lakewood Ranch.
$350 to $650. I still ain't seen no $250s. 350 to 650.
Pulte is also building Shoreview, a higher end neighborhood right next to the town center with higher priced homes. Neal Communities, the builders of Indigo and Eagle Trace, are also building two communities in Waterside. The first of which is Windward, featuring a massive amenity center with a fitting coastal architecture. Neal's second neighborhood in Waterside is a smaller community of 47 high-end, semi-custom lakefront homes.
Semi-custom lakefront homes. Now the question that you got to ask is, what is the HOA fee and what is the flood insurance look like?
Town is another semi-custom builder that's extremely bullish on Waterside Place with two new neighborhoods, including Lake House Cove, with their own homes, along with a series of very high-end custom lakefront homes from Arthur Ruttenberg and Lee Weatherington.
I like the Ruttenberg series. Neal and Horton, I'm not a fan of. But if you go look at that one for that one he just had for Ruttenberg, I like they designs. Let's see if we can get it come back up.
Homes, along with a series of very high-end custom lakefront homes from Arthur Ruttenberg and Lee Weatherington. This neighborhood also features some of the nicest amenities in Waterside Place and Lakewood Ranch. Across the street from Lake House Cove, Homes by Town is essentially replicating this neighborhood with a very similar style of homes and a slightly different amenity center. Along the main lake are two more.
Listen, Facts No Fluff. It's a wrap. The 150 down in Lakewood Ranch, 150. That's a plot. That's the land plot. That's the land plot, right? And on top of that, you got to do a construction loan, right? And you got to adhere to a certain size and a certain standard. That's the land plot.
Urban style neighborhoods with lake frontage, both of which are walking distance to the town center. There's Emerald Landing with beautiful high-end urban style townhomes and backload single family homes, along with Natik, featuring more craftsman style single family homes and more townhomes. A little further southeast is Monterey, another Toll Brothers neighborhood similar to the Isles, just getting
a Toll Brothers neighborhood. Ruttenberg and Toll Brothers. Toll Brothers got the luxury lifestyle living on lock. Eric, I was wondering where the Toll Brothers, I can't find a Toll Brothers in St. Pete, but I can find it in probably Tampa. I might can find one, but I can find them most definitely in Sarasota. 850,000 to 2 million. 850,000 to 2 million. The question is, what do they do? What did they do? And nobody is arguing over whether or not you make $100,000 because your house is $850,000.
Away with more high-end semi-custom homes. And in addition to this activity is a pipeline of brand new neighborhoods in the works, including Bungalow Walk, Palm Grove, Saddlestone, Catalina, Waterbury Park, and likely many more down the road. In the backdrop of all this construction, there's been additional space saved for the growing demand for extreme high-end custom homes here in town.
Growing demand for extreme high-end homes. Growing demand for extreme high-end homes. Right? A growing demand. That's why when people be arguing online, talking about most of America ain't living like, I don't know what they talking about. Because when I go down to Sarasota, when I go to certain parts of Tampa, when I go to certain parts of Florida, I don't know what people talking about. I don't know. Because I got questions. Where are they getting their money from? Go sit at a bar in Sarasota. Go to happy hour in Sarasota. Go sit down. That's all you gotta do is go. That's right, Fats No Fluff. Growing demand, but people out here waiting for the crash. It's a growing. I'm trying to tell you, it's just different.
For people around the country wanting to invest their wealth in their remaining time here in town. There are 7 estate-style lots being sold and developed by John Cannon, titled Monarch Acres.
Monarch Acres, custom, 3 million plus. 3 million plus. 3 million. You ain't even. You're not even talking about nothing at a million. You're not even talking about nothing at $1 million. You're gonna need $1 million down. You ain't talking about nothing.
These homes will be entirely custom.
Look at that house. Entirely custom. Now, if you go a little further out, and I'll bring this to you, you'll find the houses with the landing strips in the back. They're not in Lakewood Ranch. They're outside of Lakewood Ranch. But they got the landing strip in the back of the houses, just like they got them in Colorado.
As you can see from the first home that was built here, the sky is the limit. Nearby on Waterside's main lake are 13 more lots with a similar blank camp.
3 million, 13 more lots, 3 million.
Opportunity to be built custom by John Cannon. These homes will also feature docks and boat access to the lake. Nearby in Waterside is also Wild Blue, the neighborhood of 505 custom homes.
1.5 million to 6 million, Wild Blue. We done shot up. We was at 3, now we at 1.5 to 6 million. At least you can get in at $1 million. You get in at one point, you get in on the low end and let the people build and get their $6 million home. You keep your property up and let it appreciate. You get in on the low, on the low ski.
From the best local builders in town. And these homes will range from 1.5 million all the way up to potentially more than 6 or 7 million. There's also the Founders Club further south with more custom.
2 million to 4 million, Founders Club. Garage on the side, entrance, probably got a little waterfall effect or somewhere. $300K, that's a good price.
Homes between 2 and 5 million. And finally, there's the concession. The neighborhood and golf.
2.3 million to 7 million. The concession.
Designed by Jack Nicklaus and Tony Jacklin to commemorate their famous 1969 moment in the Ryder Cup, where Jack Nicklaus famously conceded the final putt to Tony for the first tie in Ryder Cup history. The course has been voted #1 in the nation in years past by Golf Digest, and the neighborhood itself features a plethora of $2 to $7 million custom homes. Suffice it to say, along with the Lake Club, this is another neighborhood that is in the conversation with the best in Florida. During this 30-year explosion of residential real estate that we just covered, the infrastructure, amenities, and attractions were all developing in stride to accommodate the growth. There's the main hospital, Lakewood Ranch Medical Center, that was built early on with Main Street. There are over 300 restaurants and 12 walkable shopping centers. There are 13 preschools, 14 private and public schools from elementary to high school, 10 higher education institutions. In terms of nature and outdoor living, 40% of the total landmass is dedicated to open space and recreation, including over 150 miles of multi-use nature trails and bike lanes, 13 total parks, including 3 county parks, gyms and sports complexes that attract large youth tournaments and professional athletes who train here in the off-season, along with the Sarasota Polo Club, 9 private and public golf courses, 60 active club memberships, 16 places of worship, and to tie the whole community together, 4 town centers, including the Green, a smaller town center with restaurants, retail, and residences, UTC, a major development just outside the western border of the ranch and one of the most popular places in town, featuring a nationally recognized mall, dozens of bars and restaurants, and the new Moat Marine Aquarium currently under construction.
And the aquarium. You do not have to leave the area. Everything you need is right there. No check cash in places. You do have an urgent care. There is an urgent care down there. But it's not like it's an urgent care every block. That ain't what that is. There is an urgent care on University Parkway. But when I worked down there, everything I needed. I went to the doctor, everything was right there. Boom. I don't need. And this goes back to what I was talking about the amount of money you make, the zip codes that you live in, the money that you put into your family, the money that you put into your pocket, the money that you got circulating in your neighborhood. Think about how much money is circulating in that neighborhood. Do you think they keep money in their neighborhood? Do you think people are riding up to Tampa to go shopping every weekend? I gotta go to the white side of town to do. No, they go right down the street. The money stays in the neighborhood.
All of this next to Benderson Park, a major hub for events and rowing competitions. Closer to the core of Lakewood Ranch.
Kiwi said rowing competitions. Rowing. So one of my coworkers, his son was part of the sail club, and his brother was part of the row club. They got scholarships to go to school for sailing and rowing. He competes internationally for rowing and sailing. Both of them do. That's what they went to college for. That's a different type of environment, different type of people.
The two main town centers we briefly mentioned earlier, the first of which is Lakewood Ranch Main Street, the first town center and the original entertainment hub of the community, with restaurants, retail.
If you're ever down there and on Main Street, go to stop by Station 400, get you something to eat. Tell them Tameika sent you. Make sure they toast your croissant. They used to then toast croissants. They used to just stick them in the bag, and I would walk back in there. I was like, man, I need my croissant toasted. Cut it in half, put a little butter on it, toast my croissant. Finally, the manager came over to me and he was like, you know, I took your idea about the croissant and I started serving it that way, and now our croissants go through the roof. I was like, did you name it? You should name that croissant after me. Then put my name on the put me on the menu. Put me on the menu. They got fried cheese grits. They also have pancakes. They don't stay open all day. They only do a certain time. They do not serve vegan sausage. At least when I went, they may do it now.
Windows, a movie theater, mini golf, and more importantly, the venue of one of the most popular events in Lakewood Ranch, Music on Main, a long-standing tradition every first Friday that has grown in popularity ever.
So every first Friday, they have an event. Let me give you my first Friday story. D and I, first Friday on Main Street. All my co-workers, we all got together. Everybody's like, we going to a little bar. It's actually right here on this curb in here. We go in, we walk in, everybody taking turn buying drinks. Really it's on the company, drinks on us, boom, boom, boom. Ordy. Ordy's like, Tim, what do y'all want? So we like, I don't know, man. What's everybody been drinking? He was there with his daughter. Everybody's there. The owner of the company is there. We're all chilling, boom, boom. Two guys walk over and they like, man, they's like, y'all been here, and it seems like this is a nice night, this, that, another. We start talking, blah, blah, blah. He was like, he's like, where y'all from? Blah, blah, blah. So we got to talking, and he was like, well, can I get y'all a drink? And I was like, sure, yeah, you can get us a drink. And so he was there with his friend, one of his guy friends. Can I get a drink? We talking, shooting it up, right. So to the left of us is, you walk up two steps and there's a table, and it was three females sitting at a table. And D was like, "Is that lady over there filming us?" And I was like, "I don't know." So all of us turned and looked, and she was filming us. So she was filming us, and the guy was like, he was tall. He was about 6'3", 6'4". He was like, "Oh, that's my wife's friend." And so she was up there like this right here, like literally filming, right? And I said to him, I said, well, maybe we should give her something to really film. And so he was like, let's give her a show and make sure she sends it to my wife. I said, no problem. So that man, he we started dancing. He was like, make sure you get dancing. I said, I'm giving them shoulders, baby. I'm giving them shoulders. He's like, let me rub them. Let me rub those shoulders. I was like, lady, why are you filming? We're just here having a drink. Why are you up here acting like this man has tongued me down or he's over here rubbing on us? That man just standing over here talking to us, and we talk, and literally we are talking about what is it like to live in Sarasota. What is it like to go to the golf course, because they had an early tea time the next morning, so they were out and about and they were going home because they had an early tea time, and they already had did their day of golf that day. And so he was like, I'm just out trying to get me something to eat. Man, next thing you know, the lady, she gets up out of her chair, she comes towards us. When I tell you, all of the men and the women that we were with, including the guys, jumped in front of them. They was like, there would not be that in here today. You would not come over here and bother them. You would not come over here with your foolishness. They yoked her up and ushered her on out, and they told her and her friends, y'all gotta go too. Y'all gotta get on up. I was like, man, we're just chilling. Just chilling. That's my Main Street story. That's my Main Street story. Let's get back to it. My Main Street story. I tell you, I got stories.
Its inception. Down the street, there's the newest and most architecturally attractive town center, Waterside Place. I've already covered this in detail in the last video, but if you haven't seen it yet, this is another major hub of the community, with a host of indoor and outdoor waterfront amenities, restaurants, bars, and 2 recurring events, ranch nights on Wednesdays and the Sunday market, bringing in thousands of people every week. Beyond Wednesdays and Sundays, Lakewood Ranch plays host to an array of seasonal events that continue to tie the community together year-round. And with all of that, the external picture of Lakewood Ranch becomes a little bit more clear. In a free market society like the USA, there's no guarantee that a planned community will come together like this. But time and time again, people have bought it. They've literally bought into their homes, but more importantly, they've bought into the community itself. As someone who lives here and works here as a realtor, the answer as to why this town has grown so popular is actually very simple. It's just a good product. It's a place that is accessible to a vast range of economics, a place that facilitates interaction, both with nature and members of the community. And most importantly, it's a place that's consistent. With every success came the willingness for builders to raise the bar, which in turn attracted more people from all over to invest here. Lakewood Ranch is no different from any other product. If it satisfies a demand, is designed thoughtfully, and is well executed and well iterated, then people will invest their time and their money into it. Residential development will always be a practical endeavor, but with technology creating an ever-increasing remote workforce, development appears to be less about reacting to industry and more about proactively increasing quality of life.
Yep. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this one. I wanted to bring this to you to give you a different view of what neighborhoods could be, right? What neighborhoods could be, what it could look like, where you could be rotating. It's not to say that we can't build our own and do the same thing. I'm just saying, I'm just showing you what it could be, right? And the only way that happens is you got to put your ego aside. You got to go for the best of the best. We're not talking about the Pookieshas and the Pookie and the Ray Ray. It's a reason why them prices start at 400,000. We're not looking for them. That's not the family structure we're looking for. Yes, 2 people may need to be working. Yes, you may need to earn 100,000 and more at a minimum. Yes, because that's who we're looking for. We're looking for a specific version of people that want to come in, that want to cut their grass, that don't want to park a car on their grass. We want people that want to that want to make sure their hedges are cut, that want to make sure that their lawn is cut, that want to make sure that it's edged. They don't want the grass cutting over into the sidewalk. That's what they want. And they gonna get it. If they weren't gonna get it, they wouldn't keep expanding. We the only ones that want to sit up and argue about why I should be able to park on my lawn. Why you want to park on your grass? Put too much work into it. Put too much work into it. Just my thoughts. Let me see. I think I had one more. Let me double verify. I think I had one more. Okay. All right. I don't. I think I do have another video though. But let's get into one of the ones that I did want to talk about. Yeah. I think everybody has seen this one circulating um circulating the actual internet. I caught my employee secretly working a second remote job. Here is here is why I decided to fire them and why I think overemployment is sometimes unethical. So let's talk about it first. There are some companies that don't care if you work a second job or not. Now, I have a whole bunch of questions about overemployment from a company standpoint, right? Because I know some people know that other people got full time jobs, but they're still willing to hire them, even though they know they got full time work. I do. I know them. Heather, you know them. He called you on the phone, Heather. Don't care whether or not you got a second job. Don't care. Not even a thought, right? Not even a thought. So I often try to figure out from my perspective, what if you did work a second job? What if you work full time on Uber Eats? Is that not considered overemployment? Even though it's 1099. What if you did have somebody that worked at Walmart at night? What if they worked at Walmart at night? What if they worked at Walmart at night and got worked overnight full time? Are you upset then? Or is it that you upset that that person is making two W-2 jobs during the same time that you're working? Is that a problem? When is it not a problem? Is a question, right? Because these CEOs be fractional CEOs. They have multiple they be multiple CEOs. They don't be a CEO for just one company. They be CEOs for multiple companies. They sit on multiple boards. They sit on they may even have a full-time job and still be a CEO of another company. But let's go. Practice Singe fired one of his employees for secretly working a second remote job while on the clock. He shared how he caught the employee and why he decided to fire them. He says overemployment is sometimes unethical and can hurt the worker productivity. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm the co founder and the CCO of a business where every employee works fully remote. In January, I caught one of them secretly working a second full time job remote. Here's how it all played out and why I decided to fire them. Let me look and see if this is a different one. I just want to see if it come up. Yeah. Yeah, get out of here. All right. The CEO calls overemployment trend new form of theft and deception after firing two engineers working remote. Blah blah blah. I don't think it's the same CEO. Okay, yeah, not okay. Cool. All right. My business is headquartered in Barcelona, but one of my employees was based in Peru. He was hired in 2022, and in the beginning, he did his job very well. But then I started to receive complaints from clients about missed assignments and deadlines. That's mistake number one: missed assignments and deadlines. Right? He also had become quite unresponsive. Mistake number three. First one: assignments, deadlines, unresponsive, missing for long periods of time. These complaints from clients started to become somewhat regular. When this employee started refusing certain shifts he usually worked, I became suspicious. I had a feeling that he was doing something on the side, but because there was no proof, I didn't want to jump to any conclusions. So instead, I had one-on-one meetings with him to discuss his performance. When the same issues continued, I told him that if things didn't change, I would have to let him go. While he showed some signs of improvement, his overall performance didn't change. This this put a significant burden on the rest of the team, who had to cover his shifts and deal with his missed deadlines. How I ultimately caught him. In December, unrelated to this particular employee, my company rolled out time tracking software called Desk Time. My long term goal is to introduce 4-day work week at my company, and I decided the first step in the process would be understanding how my employees spend their time and would be optimized to boost productivity. You ain't got to do all of that. I understand it. You just say you got 4-day work week, here's 10-hour days, get this done, or else you get fired. You ain't got to go install this time. You just being nosy. So our entire team of full-time employees and freelance contractors started using Desktime. They each had to install the app on their computer, so everyone was well aware that this was being implemented. After a few weeks, I looked through the tracking data of the struggling employee and noticed that there was another company's name, a U.S. business that regularly appeared in the data. So he was working on the company's machine during the time. You should have had two laptops up, two screens, right? And that regularly appeared in data. It became clear to me that this employee had worked on some other's company's tasks. I fired him the next day. The desk time data showed that the employee was using software during the workday that was unrelated to his job task. It included a screenshot feature that captured his computer screen and showed him working on a platform where their company name was clearly visible. Based on desk time data, I estimate that he had spent close to half of his work time working for this other company. It seems that he forgot about tracking software since once it's downloaded, it doesn't require any manual switching on and off. To be honest, all the other signs, missed deadlines, lack of flexibility, unresponsiveness at certain times, had already made me quite certain that he was doing something else during working hours. I would have probably fired him anyway, but the track data was the missing proof. I believe he was working for the other company full time because soon after I fired him, he updated his LinkedIn to reflect that he was working full time at another company. Why are you tracking his LinkedIn? Why do you care? You fired him. Why do you care? Why I think overemployment is sometimes unethical. I know some people may judge me, but I generally don't support the trend of overemployment. I think it's sometimes unethical and just wrong. First of all, I don't think it's fair to the rest of the team who had to cover for someone else's low performance. Well, that's that person's problem, right? Low, you ain't got to be working two jobs to have low performance. This is why keeping this employee of mine in the company wasn't an option. He wasn't fair, respectful to the team, and that's something I can't tolerate. His actions were selfish. Secondly, I don't believe a person can productively do two jobs at the same time, even if you use AI tools. Their attention will be scattered, so the quality of their work will suffer. As an entrepreneur, I have to think about my business and clients first. I can't afford to lose clients because someone wants to make extra money. I really don't mind people having side hustles to earn extra income, but this should be something that they do on their own time. What's considered your own time? And that doesn't affect the quality of their day job. What is a side hustle? Because I can have a side hustle that make it just as much as I get paid on a regular job, right? All right. So I didn't have the screen shared this whole time. Y'all didn't even say nothing. Anyway, so paying off a student loan. All right. I talked about this before, where we have to get into the mindset of picking companies that going to help us achieve our goal. Let me see how much you've been paying attention to me. What's one way you should be looking, or give me multiple ways that you should be looking for companies to help you achieve your goal, whatever goal that is? Give me one way. I'll read it out of the chat. Heather, you say they only care when it's a lot of money involved. Well, a lot of money to who though? What's a is it a lot of money that they're missing, or a lot of money that's going matching? Matching it, I don't want to necessarily call it matching. What I be referring to is the profit sharing 401k. Right? Profit sharing 401k. Companies with profit sharing, Procter and Gamble, Activision. All right. Procter and Gamble uses a set formula to calculate the amount of profit shared with the employees, the base, how long, and the company's annual bonus. Once the percentage is calculated, employees receive a cash bonus. That's not what I'm talking about. Walgreens has implemented a 401k plan, which is a kind of deferred profit sharing plan. Okay. Employees can contribute a portion of their own salary to the plan, which is automatically deducted from their payroll each month. Walgreens then matches 100% of the first 4% of an employee's uh, con- that of an employee contributes. IRS dollar limits apply. Southwest, the formula used takes into account the net income of the company, which is divided amongst the staff based on the employee's base salary and hours worked. Staff receive cash payouts as a percentage of the annual salary. Apart from this, Southwest Airlines also offers plenty of employee benefits. These include health, retirement savings, plenty of growth career opportunities or career growth opportunities, a competitive salary. That's probably explains why incredibly low turnover rate at 5%. Home Depot does what they call success sharing. Eligible employees who worked at Home Depot over 12 months will receive a bonus twice a year based on their salary and the number of hours worked. Buffer, let's see, they do, depending on the annual profits, the company pools between 8 to 15% of the profits into a team bonus pool. 20% of the team bonus new pool is donated to charity. The remainder is paid to the team members. Each team member receives a bonus based on the following calculations. 25% paid to team members based on how many months. 25% is based on the employee's base salary. 50% is based on tenure. And then cover kit, they do 25% based on how long the employee has worked, and 75% split equally between staff members based on the performance in the previous 6 months. Um, they do equity and charitable donations. Now, Delta does does this. The company is very transparent and publicly discloses the formula it uses to determine payouts to staff. Delta shares 10% of its 2.5 billion and 20% of annual profits exceeding 2.5 billion. The profit sharing pool is divided based on the total compensation of an eligible employee. The result is the percentage that Delta pays each eligible employee, right? Profit sharing, right? But there's also profit sharing 401k. Like I say, there are a couple of companies that do it. Let me see if my homeboy is around. I need to see. I haven't been able to get in touch with him. Oh, he got some jobs out here. He got a content marketing manager, remote, and so forth. Let me look. Talk about his talk about his benefits. Let me go back. Mm-mm-mm. I'm looking to see if he got his benefits up here. He used to have them up here. Steve Carter is the guy. I'm looking to see. I'm gonna text him today. Okay, PTO, flexible working hours, company paid healthcare, 401k match. Now he does a match. He used to do 5. He used to do 10%. Now he does a match. Does a match. He probably got some investors and had to make adjustment. He started out at 10%, and then he moved down to 5, and now he does a match. But he's got jobs and they're remote, so check them out. Let me know if you find something on there that you're interested in. I'll shoot it over to him. So matching is one. The other one here is the other thing is someone who's actually going to pay off your student loans and someone who's going to help you get money for your down payment on a house. So some companies, when you are coming on board, they will actually pay for a down payment for your house. They'll help you get a new car. Some have a new car plan. And I'm not talking about, oh, I'm going to go get me a brand new Mercedes. I ain't talking about that. But I am talking about like, oh, I'm going to get me a new car that's going to that I need for the job or something like that. But another one is relocation. Some help with relocation. And I'm not talking about $10,000. I'm talking about 20, 30,000. Some also help with require or may offers equity and whatnot. I'm always looking for companies that are going to help me do something that I want to do, but I may need help with. So some of y'all need help with student loans, right? So paying off a student loan, your company could match that money in your 401k, right? Starting this year, student loan payments count toward 401k company matches. Student loan borrowers stressed over choosing between paring down student loan debt and pay and saving for retirement just got some relief. If you work for an employer who that offers a 401k or 403b or a similar workplace plan, there's a new option rolling out this year that can help you save for retirement and pay off student loans in one fell swoop. Employers can now consider student loan payments as qualifying contributions towards retirement plan matching programs, thanks to the Secure 2.0 Act, which included a package of retirement related provisions on aimed at ratcheting up savings. Ratcheting up. The student debt retirement provision is particularly exciting as it directly addresses retirement savings, which is one of the top areas we see so many borrowers are forced to cut back on due to the student loan debt, right? It means workers no longer need to choose, right? Well, one of the things that comes out of these conversations that I have all the time with everyone is, um, if you made 200,000, can you be okay? I'm multiply by. Let me do this because I'm 200,000. I'm taking off 27,000 for your HSA and your 401k off the rip. So 173,000. So you maxed out your HSA and you maxed out your 401k. Be nice. You're gonna max out your IRA, but I'll do that afterwards. I'll do that afterwards because it's your IRA. So roughly about $10,000 a month, and you get $7,000 that you put into your IRA. So 583. So we're just gonna go with 10,000 minus 583. Would you say the average rent is about 2,000 a month? I say that. We're gonna say that what the average car note is about what 5 to 700. So I'll go with 600. And the average car insurance cost for anyone now, depending on the state, depending on what you're driving, is what about 300 to 230, 300. I'll go with 250. I'm just gonna look at one car. All right. What else we got? Oh, we got credit cards, possibly, maybe even light, gas, so forth. Right. So I'm gonna just add in another, I don't know what, probably about 800. So that's 5750. For me, 5767. Right. I feel like I'm missing a whole lot. And that's in a month. Which rent, which 2K, two bedroom or one bedroom. It depends. Right. So what else are we missing out of this? Because we got your 583 for your IRA. We already maxed out your 401k, your HSA. I feel like I'm missing no car. Oh yeah, I feel like I'm missing food. What are y'all spending in food? About 500 a month, 250 to 500 a month. Maybe you spending, I don't know. Is anybody spending $100 a month in food? Extreme couponers. I'm gonna be nice and go with 300. Okay, that's a single person, I think. Do you think if we added in another person, and another and a child, you would still have this $5,000 left over? Just curious. Yeah, I did the car note. I said a car note was around about 600 right here. And then I said rent was about 2,000. This 583 is the 7,000 you put into your IRA. The 250 was car insurance. I was being for one person, and then 800 for miscellaneous stuff, right? But you may have a partner that y'all can't make it off of this because you may need double of everything. You uh may need to double that on the car insurance, so that may be five, I mean another 250. You may have that person may have some student loans, this, that, and other. um you may have food, it may be some type of medicine, something like that, right? So I'm showing how your $5,000 can go, or your $10,000 a month can go real quickly. With a single person, I think you'd be fine. I think you do okay. But if you start adding in children, and those kids got activities, and the kids gotta go places, they doing AAU, they doing this, they doing that. You start talking about you all want to do a family vacation. You're gonna go do something with the rest of the family or something like that. An emergency comes up, or you stocking and putting stuff away for your emergency fund. Like you could probably put 1,000 away a month in an emergency fund, maybe even 2,000, and leave you about 3,400 for the month. But if you got two people, I think this little bit goes away. That's my personal thoughts. You all let me know. I may be delusional, as you say. I may be delusional, as you say, but that's my thoughts. All right. So, could that person live, or could that person be contributing to their student loans? Yes, they could, depending on what that is. Because again, you don't want to make minimum payments on your student loan. You need to pay the principal and what that minimum payment is. So you need to put extra on it. So it says young professionals often put off saving for retirement in order to deal with more urgent and tangible financial concerns like debt, short-term expenses. Edward Godford, senior director of product manager at Betterment at Work, told Yahoo Finance, missing out on the earliest years of your 401k and resulting in compounding interest can significantly hinder the 401k balances down the line. Something is better than nothing. Here's how it works. If your employer provides a match to your retirement plan contributions, and you're paying down student loan debt, you can count your monthly student loans as your contribution to your employer provided retirement account. Provisions in the retirement law make it possible for employers to earn a tax break on that type of match. The precise matching formula, however, and whether the employer offers the option at all depends on the employer. So you got to find someone that does it. The details are still being worked out at companies, but in general, you can make contributions to your retirement account, then add in student loan amount up to your employer's full match, which generally ranges between 4 to 6%, 4 to 6%, and your salary of your salary. Even if someone feels they can't spare the money to put anything at all into their retirement from their checks, the employer can add the student loan match, so they're saving something for retirement. It's a potential game changer for for new grads starting a career. According to the most recent available data, the Federal Reserve, the average student loan debt is 37,000. The average student loan payment is between 200 to 299. Meanwhile, a whopping 64% of employees report that student loan debt has had a negative impact on their ability to save for retirement, according to recent Betterment work survey. And a nearly quarter of the workers would be enticed to switch jobs if the prospective employer offered a student loan 401k matching program. So add this to your search for those that do have student loans. Add 401k a 401k matching student loan 401k matching program. Let's see if we can find something. Let's see if we can find somebody. Oh, look at this. A physical therapist, sign on bonus, student loan repayment. So they out there. It's just a physical therapist, but they out there. Out in Spring, Florida. Pay range 95,000. They have tuition reimbursement and student loan payback options. That's what it's called. Student loan payback options. I just want to see if I could 18 more come up. Searching locally. Let's go here. Yeah, get out of here. Let's see. I just want to see if LinkedIn pulled back anything. I just want to see if LinkedIn pulled back anything. I don't know if it's finding them in the actual description. So they got 401k. They finding 401k, but they're not finding that you're probably gonna have to ask them. Ask the people when you talk to them. Ask them if it's an option. And some of the smaller companies will probably be looking to offer that too if they know they're getting tax breaks. Yeah, all these ones that come back are the physical therapist ones. You see 8 career paths that can cancel your student loan debt. Let's go. Doctors, nurses, healthcare, teachers and education. We know that dentists, lawyers, veterinarians, military, government employees. Yep. I looked that up. I showed you where the government employees they have the up to $60,000 that they'll help with your federal student loans and nonprofits. So yeah, get federal meaning like OPM, USA Jobs, they'll help with your up to $60,000 for your student loan program. So yeah, but the other way is finding the employers that offer that as an option. All right, the geriatric millionaire. The average American millionaires has risen to 61 as of 2022, up from 57 in 1992. Younger workers struggle to amass wealth, leading to increased reliance on inheritance. Boomers' wealth accumulation is impacting economic factors like consumer spending and housing. Right? America's millionaires are getting older. While it makes sense that time is often crucial ingredient for to accruing savings and assets. The average age of millionaires in the U.S. has been rising faster than the average age of the overall population over the last 3 decades. It's the age of geriatric millionaires, and it might point to overlapping issues. Younger workers can't amass wealth at the same rate as they used to, and increasingly, the way to ascend to the ranks of the wealthy is to receive inheritance. Multi generational wealth is doing fine, but the first generation who are not on the wealth train are having a harder time getting on. Blah 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 blah. Won't say that one. The bad news for American dream of hitting it big as a self-made entrepreneur. According to Forbes, a third of the people on its latest billionaire list inherited all or most of their wealth. It's in its 2001 ranking, just 5 out of the 490 rate ranked billionaires were listed as having inherited their wealth. And in many cases, those individuals are inheriting the wealth much later in life. The millionaires are aging and they're not passing the wealth down the generational line, or they're passing it on much later in life. Those forces are combining to concentrate an increasing share of wealth in the hands of Americans, octogenarians. It could spell trouble for the economy and see even more power wield. And let me tell you, those houses down in Sarasota, down in Lakewood Ranch, that's where they buying them at. The millionaires are buying them houses. Since 1992, the average age of the country's millionaires has been going up. We looked at the survey data. The survey consumer finance data for Americans with net worths of a million or more, or over in 2022, and compared it to their demographics for 2022. The most recent data we have, the most recent year we have data for in 1992. In 1992, the average millionaire was 57 years old. By 2022, the average millionaire was around 61. And it shows here at ages of America's millionaires. So from 20 to 29, 0.6 is what you're looking at if you're talking about millionaires. And if you're looking in the age range at 30 to 39, only 5.1, 40 to 49, 14, 50 to 59, 24.3. So the sweet spot is 50, ladies. If you're looking for a millionaire, fellas, if you're looking for a sugar babe, or what's it called, sugar mom, you're gonna have to hit up the ages between 40 to 59. For those that are the mature persuasion, 60 to 69, 28%, 70 to 79, 19%, 80 to 89, 7.2, and 90%, 1. So you got a good run between 40 and 60. You can even probably push it out to 50 to 79. That's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot. It says, of course, some of this can be talked to the aging populations. After all, the U.S. has been getting older, and geriatric Americans are holding more power than ever before. So, to parse out how millionaires stack up to the rest of the population, we looked at age breakdowns in both 1992 and 2022. All right. So, I was going to talk about this Wells Fargo mouse jiggler scandal. I was going to talk about that, but I'm not. We're going to talk about something else. All right. I'm not going to spend too much longer on this. We're coming up on our 2-hour mark, but I do want to talk about another way to have money, making money for you in your accounts. And I'll do a deeper dive on this because I don't have enough time now to go over this. But I'm gonna play a video, and then we'll talk, and we'll talk about this next week. I want to talk about Social Security too. Trading options in your IRA, and then trading options in a retirement account. So this one was in 2023. This is in August of 2023. The other one's in May. Let me see if they got the breakdown. This is I got this from Charles Schwab, but they don't. That's not what I'm looking for there. I think this one is a better one. All right. So option trading in your IRA. There are different levels to options when you're talking, right? So it says these types of option strategies permitted in a Charles Schwab IRA account can vary from one account holder to the next. Step one is to apply for options approval. If approved, the IRA will be assigned a trading level between 0 and 2. Zero meaning level 0 meaning you can do covered calls, protective puts, collars, and cash secured puts. Level 1, buying calls and buying puts, as well as straddles and strangles. And level 2, certain spreads, verticals, calendars, butterflies, condors, ratio spreads, if the account is approved for a limited margin. While understanding the risk to any investment strategy is essential before trading, let's look at the three fundamental option strategies that are allowed on the Charles Schwab approved IRA platform. How many of y'all have ever tried to play options with your IRA? Playing options with your IRA. How many of you don't know what options are? Put a 2 in the chat if you don't know what options are. Let's see where y'all at. Let's see how savvy you are. All right. So again, level 0, level 1, and level 2. Protective put 1, and again, protective put falls under level 0. One option strategy that's allowed in some IRAs is a hedging technique that sometimes there is used to protect a loan stock position from potential losses. It's called a protective put. As the name suggests, it involves buying a put option, but one put option for every 100 shares of stock you own. Again, keyword you own. Typically, the put is out of the money, meaning it is out of the strike price below the current stock price. So let's talk about this right here. All right. Yeah, I'll pull it right here. A call option provides an investor with the right, but not the obligation to purchase the stock at a specific price. A put option provides an investor with the right, but not the obligation to sell the stock at a strike price, right? And when they're talking about covered, I don't know if you know the rule of thumb is if you're gonna do options, you need to have 100 shares of the actual stock itself. Got to have 100 shares of the actual stock itself, right? So the next one up is they're now showing you here. Let me make it a little smaller so you can see the whole thing, right? So they're showing you here typically the put is out of the money. You see, it says, would that coincide as a low risk with IRA because it's not a market order? So what would happen is, and this is one thing I was looking up is if you make a profit inside your IRA or you have a taxable gain inside your IRA, do you have to pay for it? Like, do you have to pay that capital gains tax at the end of the year? And from so far from what I've been reading, you don't have to pay that capital gains tax. So typically, you would end up paying that capital gains tax if you all were in if you were doing just options, say in a brokerage account. But in your inside your IRA, you could play options inside your IRA, get some capital gains, and not have to worry about that. Typically, what most people look for with the IRA and playing options is they're looking to gain 1%, maybe 1 to 2%. They're not looking for nothing. No, no, it's not a home run hit. It's just I want to make a little bit. I know what I'm set up in, but I want to make a little bit more money in my account. So I may play in my IRA to do something, right? I may play in my IRA to play covered calls, puts, so forth and so on. All right. So they're showing you here. Let me get my mouse back up here. All right. They're saying here's the stock price, right? And I'm gonna put it right here so you can see it. Buying a put option is often considered a bearish strategy because puts typically increase in value when the underlying stock price drops. But in this context, the profits generated by the put in a down market are meant to offset to some degree the losses incurred by the stock you own. Some traders choose the stock price that represents the price at which they want to exit the stock to protect any gains or avoid additional losses, right? So again, I'm showing you here, and I think most of you probably do better doing at level 0 with covered calls, protective puts, collars, and cash secured puts. When you start getting at level 1 and level 3 and you start doing iron condors, butterflies, and so forth and so on, that's advanced. I think options is advanced, but I think being doing covered calls and protective puts, I think that those are a little easier on you. Again, having 100 shares or something, and cash secured puts. So here, let's go down here. They even talk about cash secured puts. Let me see. Collar. Oh, they don't. I don't have it in here, but it's just like it sounds. A cash secured put. And you can see here, and I leave y'all this too. A covered call. A covered call, as you probably guess, involves a call option. Typically one OTM out of the money, right? Strike price higher than the current stock price. Call is sold for 100 shares of stock. When you sell a call option on a stock you own, it is not considered a naked sale. You get to keep the premium from the cash, from the sale, cash in your account. And that could help cushion a small portion of potential loss in the underlying stock in a downturn. However, the position could show losses if the stock falls more than the premium received after selling the call. If the stock moves above the strike price, the stock will likely be called away and sold at the strike price. This is called getting assigned. Therefore, unlike holding a stock without a covered call, the profit potential is limited, and they show you on the chart. It says news play would be lit. I'm into CFD, so it's no different. I got you, right? So again, I think this is something you need to study. I'm not giving you this as financial advice. I'm just showing you other ways that sometimes you may not want to be overemployed. You may not want a second job. You may want to just earn money within your IRA, right? So here's another way you can earn money within your IRA. You cannot now. I'm hold on. I saw where some 401ks would allow it, but typically you don't get a chance to do that in a 401k. Let me go here. 401k playing options. You can trade options in a retirement account like a Roth IRA or 401k, but typically I have not seen where employers will let you do that in your 401k. Typically, that is in your IRA that you can do your 401 that you can do options in. Typically, I have not seen that. And then right here, I don't want it. I'll go over this next week. But how are you taxed after selling a mutual fund in an IRA? Right? How are you taxed when you sell a mutual fund in an IRA? How are you taxed when you sell a mutual fund in a 401k? I wanted to talk about the tax strategies and things like that. So next week we'll talk more about tax strategies. Um, and we could talk about this next week too. The financial documents um that you need to have in order. It says FYI, profits earned in GSA accounts in one of your HSA account are not subject to annual capital gain tax, and you can have more than one HSA. Yeah, I got two HSA accounts. Yep, right. And you got it like some companies. Let me put this up. Some companies allow. I mean, some companies do a company match in your 401k and in your HSA. So let's say I put in 150 into my HSA, they may put 150 in my HSA. So in my HSA every month, I may be putting in $300 every month. The max you can do is 48.50 for a single person, but now I'm not coming up with all that money every month to put into my HSA. It's only going to help me when I turn 70. That's fine. Because at that point, I don't have to spend it all on medical at that point, right? So again, and the HSA rolls with you versus the FSA is it still 1,500 and maybe higher? I don't know what it is now. I haven't had one in so long. But you have to use that money or you lose that money. So the HSA, you can have it. It plays the stock market. It does its thing. You good, and you keep going. What's going on across the ETF? Are you an ETF? I need. Do I need to? I need to go out there and I need to go out there and look you up on Google Finance. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Right. So again, playing options in your IRA, right? Because you're only putting in 7,000, right? And then we're gonna start talking about the mega backdoor Roth contributions and backdoor crop Roth contributions, but only do this stuff only if you maxed out your 401k, maxed out your HSA, you good to go, you got your emergency fund, you understand the tax benefit of this as well. Talk to a CPA. I'm just prepping you so that you're not blindsided when you go to file your taxes in 2025 or 2026 and you come to me and you like, you told me I should do this backdoor Roth. I'm like, I ain't tell you that. I didn't tell you that. Now you know. Now you know. Right? It's been real, everybody. We hit our 2 hour mark. Remember, one skill away from 200K. And we are too broke to argue, be out here arguing in these streets about nothing. I just showed you a whole plan development unit, development, not unit, a whole plan development, really a city, right? A couple of cities actually, in Sarasota, and how they have, again, there was nothing in there under 385. It was nothing in there under 385, and they going up to 7 million plus. And then they're having custom sites that they're building with 10 acres, 13 acres for the homes. And and then the people are joining, in some cases, a waiting list to get in. And we want to argue about the small things, right? Oh yeah. Happy Father's Day to all the men. Happy Father's Day. Remember, don't let anyone tell you that you can't come out here and make money. Stop listening to all the scares with AI. Either you know it's here, get on board, get busy, and let's do this thing. Until then, y'all be safe. Y'all have fun. Do everything you need to do. And also by the way, when you're out and about, make sure y'all are also putting in time and effort in moving forward and not arguing with folks. Stay positive. All right.